Hey everybody, it's Seth Jones, Editor-in-Chief of Landscape Management Magazine, doing another LM at Home Zoom interview. Today I'm being joined by the Caramanico brothers. I'd like to welcome John and Bill. They are the President and Secretary Treasurer of C. Caramanico and Sons, Inc. in the Philadelphia area, and they are celebrating 75 years as a family-owned business. So gentlemen, welcome. Thanks for taking the time to visit with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So John, let me start off with you. Can you just tell me about the business? Tell me what you guys do. And obviously you guys have been doing it for 4 generations, which is awesome. But can you describe to me the company?
So we are commercial landscape contractors in the Philadelphia region. We service 5-county area in Pennsylvania. We service South Jersey and Northern Delaware. We have about 125 team members at this point in the spring here. We look to be a solutions provider for our customers, whether it be patios, tree replacements, tree takedowns, landscape enhancements, whatever we can do to improve the property. And our best clients value curb appeal. They want their properties to have a wow factor, to when clients get out of the car, visit their properties, the properties stand out. So, and we're celebrating 75 years this year. We are happy it didn't happen in 2020. We're looking for brighter days ahead here in 2021. And the theme of our celebration is thank you to our team members who have helped the company get to 75 years. And thank you to our loyal customers who have always been there to support us in any way they can.
Okay, great. Bill, let me throw a question your way. What
Sure.
do you think? I know the 75th is actually going to take place later this year, but what do you think you guys will do to honor the event with your employees?
Yeah, like you mentioned, we are having a little celebration at the end of September. We're renting out an outdoor tent area at a local arboretum. So we're inviting customers, our employees and their families, vendors, everybody that makes, what keeps the gears going here at C. Caramanico and Sons. Should be a good time. But yeah, like you said, throughout the year, we're going to be celebrating. It'll be a year-long event. We got the shirts with the 75th logo on them this year. We're looking to celebrate all year long.
Fantastic. Now look, you guys have a great 75th anniversary tribute on your webpage, and it's neat to go back. I'm jealous that you guys have so much family history that you can have these photos and whatnot. And I encourage our viewers to go check it out. But so your guys' dad is John, your grandpa is Dan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to me about just early memories of your grandpa and what he did? What do you remember about like going out to grandpa's place? What was that like?
So he lived next door to us in Springfield. I am his oldest grandson, and Bill is probably the number 2 oldest grandson. So when he bought a truck, this was like an extended cab truck, a Chevy S10 in the early 80s, which back then they were like pickup trucks were a standard cab, like a bench seat in the front. And he bought a truck, and he was so proud of this truck because it had 2 little seats in the back that Bill and I could ride around with him. And I can remember it like it was yesterday, riding around with him, going to check out job sites, he started a nursery in Gradyville, which is probably a 15-minute ride from where we lived. So going out there, and, it was always a special treat to get to go with him. And we'd stop at, we're from Delaware County, so Wawa is a big deal here. Mm-hmm. And we would stop at Wawa and be able to get a treat and, ride around and check on jobs and check out the nursery.
That's awesome. Very cool. Bill, what about you? What do you remember about grandpa?
Yeah, like John said, we were lucky enough to grow up right next to our grandparents. So they lived out in West Philly, and they moved out to the suburbs in 1950, and they built 2 houses, one for my grandfather and one for his brother. Unfortunately, his brother passed away in the 70s, and my parents ended up buying the house. So we were raised in the house right next door to my grandparents. And they kind of had the business up here. They had the two houses next to each other with like 4 or 5 garages behind them. So all the trucks were up here all the time. So I just remember going out and, after work, the trucks were able to be parked behind our house. I would go up there, sit in the truck, sit in the back of the truck, pretend I'm driving a truck, back when it was okay to do that. But yeah, it was great having kind of the company run out of your house, your backyard area. So that's what I kind of remember with my grandfather and my dad and my uncle and everything back from the early times.
Okay, cool. Good. So what's it like when you guys were young and just kind of getting into it? Was it just part of life, everyday life? Did your buddies think it was, I mean, I can imagine that you guys probably got to do some heavy lifting when you're at a pretty young age. You probably didn't have a free ride, like a lot of kids playing baseball on weekends. You guys are probably throwing dirt around. Did you just get used to it?
Well, we played sports growing up. It wasn't like, it wasn't anything like that, but it was just cool to be part of the business. A lot of the equipment was there. So if we weren't playing baseball or basketball, like we would be climbing on the trucks and, lifting open the hoods to see what they were all about. And, the basement in the house that we grew up in, the office was the office was in our basement. So, like doing homework and stuff, we used to go down there and there'd be blueprints rolled out and kind of like just being curious and looking around at that stuff. And, it was just there. We didn't know any different.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. What about how the business has grown? How have you seen it evolve over the years? What can you tell me about just the way the company's changed?
So my dad and uncle, they took over a business in the early 80s that was mainly a residential business. They were doing lawn mowing on residential properties, planting enhancements. They got into some driveways, concrete work, and et cetera. So when they took over the business in the early 80s, it was a residential firm. They kind of transitioned to a more commercial facing company. And the entry into the commercial world was through like installations. New shopping center would be built, or a new school or a new park. They would do the grading, the seeding, the planting, the sodding, irrigation systems, whatever it may be. And that lasted until like the early 2000s. And my dad, through advice of a consultant, Frank Ross, who still works with us today, said, we got to get in the more commercial maintenance. We got to, we're only as good as our next job here in landscape construction. We got to get into the recurring revenue theme. And that was like music to my dad's ears. So in the early 2000s, 2003, 4, 5, as Bill and I kind of graduated from college and came on, my dad's focus was, let's grow this maintenance division. Let's not let it be the little sister. So I remember that he put Bill in that division to hope to grow it. And as Bill and I became more involved in the business, we kind of liked that aspect more. I was focused in landscape construction, and Bill was in the maintenance department.
Okay, very cool. Good answer. Bill, any additional thoughts there?
No, like John said, it's definitely evolved. Back when our grandfather was running it, he was cutting neighborhood lawns in West Philly. It's now moved on to major, corporate maintenance. Don't do much residential except for like homeowners associations. But yeah, just the evolution from cutting, neighborhood lawns to the install, like the major installs, and to maintenance now. It's really evolved over the years.
What was it like the day that you guys knew that you were going to become partners and take over the company? I imagine it wasn't something that just happened overnight, but the day that it became official, what was that like?
It was an exciting day. It was what was pretty cool about that day was it was early July. I think it was July 6th, 2014, and it was actually almost to the day that my dad and uncle took over the business. They ran the business from 1984 to 2014. So I remember them telling me that, and they actually signed the papers in the same attorney's office that we signed our papers. So in the same town here in Delaware County. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, what I remember is that we probably started, working on it. John said we got it. The deal was in July of 2014. We probably started the previous July and August, starting, the discussions, then getting all the paperwork done. And it was just a long process going back and forth with, revisions, trying to get everything straightened out, crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. So it was a good day, and it was also a relief to finally, cross the finish line in July.
Once again, I want to thank John Caramanico, Bill Caramanico. Congratulations to these guys. 75 years as a family-owned business. Check out the rich history on their website. You can see more in the magazine. But it's they are the president and secretary treasurer of C. Caramanico and Sons Inc. And thank you guys. Thanks for visiting us all here on Landscape Management's At Home Edition.